I think it has to do with the U.S. diplomat that admits to telling commander-in-chief lies about troop levels in Syria. I think that there's something going on here. Why were they lying to the president about the levels of troops in Syria when he wanted to withdraw?
We are not in control. The American people lost control a long time ago. This was the most infuriating thing. I tell you, man, when I read this story, I almost punched a hole in my monitor. Donald Trump wanted to withdraw our troops from Syria, and U.S. officials lied to him and us about how many troops we have in Syria. And then all the Democrats and Republicans were like, Trump, you can't withdraw all of our troops from Syria. Leave in a certain number. So Trump agreed, okay, we'll leave in 200. Trump famously then holds a press conference where he's like, they want us to guard the oil, so we're going to keep 200, soldiers there to guard the oil. Turns out there's way more people on the ground, and they lied. And the crazy thing is how the left gloats and is laughing about it.
They laughed about it.
The American people voted for a president who said, I am going to get our troops out of these forever wars. And the American people want that to happen.
Yes.
So they lied to the president. They lied to us. And my mind is blown that after I saw that, I posted on Facebook to all the people who voted for Joe Biden after everything the Obama administration did, getting us into more foreign entanglements, more conflict in North Africa and the Middle East. I hope the blood of these dead children weighs heavy on your conscience every night you go to sleep because you voted for this. I voted for Obama the first time I learned my lesson. And then I walked away because that was insane. Now we get Donald Trump, and he was not good in his first few years. He hired Bolton. I say it all the time. What a dumb move. But Trump started making good moves on foreign policy. Now what happens? They lie, and then they justify it. They laugh. And all of these people on the left, I posted this on Facebook saying, when I said this really shocking thing, they were like, well, Trump should have known. I'm like, why are you defending the warmongers who blow up kids?
Yeah.
Trump tried to get them out. They lied. Well, Trump should, Trump is bad.
So when I was on here last time, we talked about this. We talked about how the Trump administration had fired some people over at Department of Defense, and they had installed some of their Trump loyalists over there. And we joked around saying, is this like a head counting exercise? What's going on? I think the headline on that talk was, is there a coup coming? We were joking around about that. So I called my guys. I have some sources in the White House, and I talked to them, and they told me, and they assured me 100% that the entire reason that they have made these personnel changes at the Department of Defense is to ensure that the president's orders are faithfully carried out and executed to his desire within the law and with the intent of the people that voted him into office, to remedy what is happening in Syria and to try to end the wars and try to get our people out and to do what was ordered from the beginning. But he was thwarted by the deep state. It's not a conspiracy theory. The bureaucratic state, the deep state, they have their own agendas, they have their own plans, and they are the ones that are in control. The people in the field can lie. They can say the troops are there. They're not there. And so they put people now into these positions to make sure that the president's orders are faithfully executed. I wish it would have happened years ago. He's been friggin', C-blocked the whole way. He's been totally stymied and everything, but now he's really trying to make that happen. And if he can do that, that's wonderful. But it's also just an example of how corrupt the deep state is, how corrupt the moneyed military interests are, how corrupt our foreign policy is. And Trump, he gets a bad rap, but doesn't he? He has shown consistent sympathy for children. And consistency, well, in some cases, I suppose, and consistently wanting to end war.
If I could just add, it was just, for me, just kind of sitting back, but it was just disgusting to see all the mainstream media and journalists just like laughing about it, almost like it was an inside joke. And it's just like, it's our middle class Americans that we send to those wars to go fight for you guys. And you guys just could sit back and laugh and make all this money. It's absolutely sick. And it's just sick to see, Joe Biden out here toting, Black Lives Matter. But what about the black kids that you bombed in the Middle East all those years? You took us 2 to 5, from 2 to 7 wars. And it's just, to me, it was disgusting to see that journalist list just put laughing emojis when, like, dude, it's our American brothers and sisters are over there, man.
Think about the amount of money we spend to do all that while everyone's been complaining about what's going on in Flint, Michigan. I bring it up every time. It's the perfect example. We haven't solved the problem of the water crisis in Flint, yet you've got people laughing about how they lied to the American people to keep troops in Syria. Who wanted to go to Syria? Obama did. For the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, and because we have proxy wars over natural gas and other resources. Look, I totally get it. These people want to, make good money, and it's good for America and everybody. But is it worth destabilizing the entire region, creating space for ISIS?
Yep.
Okay, we should not have been involved in this. You look at these photos, man, from Syria. These photos from Aleppo. There are ancient structures. There are thousands of years of ancient history. But more than that. The lives of these families, if you look at these beautiful photos from Aleppo before the war, and then you look at after the war and it's rubble, chaos, and death, that's what they wanted. And for what? I'll tell you this. These people think we're gonna get our pipeline through Syria, through Turkey. We're gonna make cheap gas available for the people in Europe. And that sounds an awful lot like what the left would call white supremacy, isn't it? They created a refugee crisis where people are fleeing on what's called the Eastern Mediterranean route in boats that are flipping over, capsizing. Kids are dying, washing up on shore, and they say, "Oh, this problem." And I was there. I talked to some of these refugees. I talked to these people, and it seems like every single time they try and manipulate me to give them support for these crises, they never want to actually solve them. They want to make them worse. So I tell you this. Is it good for America if we get our natural gas in Europe, offset the Russian monopoly? Oh, it'll be great for us. Is it worth all of the dead and displaced and the chaos and the destruction? Absolutely not. But this is what we get when you have a bureaucratic class that runs the government. It doesn't matter who you elect. The Democrats and the Republicans, the rhinos and the dinos, just want the keys to the castle. You vote for me, I win the contest, then I sit back and pretend like I'm doing something. When Trump said, "I want to get our troops out of the Middle East," what happens? You get all of these Democrats, Republicans saying, "No, you can't do it." Even Mitch McConnell's like, "No, you can't do it. Our allies in the region." Shut up. This is what the American people want, and they voted for Trump for a reason.
That's why a lot of the establishment, Tim, on both sides are actually happy with a Joe Biden presidency, because then life in Washington goes back to the status quo. Back to more wars, big business. Everyone's making money. The middle class keeps getting shrunk. Our manufacturing jobs keep getting shipped to China, and our suicide rate and our opioid problems in Middle America keep going up.
This country is being extracted. Dylan Ratigan said it. I think it was 7 years ago.
Yeah, 2013.
In 2013, you see this famous rant where he said it's being extracted through trade, a bunch of other things. But this is what we get. Joe Biden says we're going to increase the corporate tax rate. The Obama administration wanted us in the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade agreement with Pacific countries, namely China. That means that you put a factory in China, you can send all the goods back to America free of charge, so you can use cheap sweatshop labor with no health insurance, no minimum wage, and the people in China are working like the Foxconn factories in such horrifying conditions. They walk off, they put suicide nets up around the building. That's what Joe Biden and the Obama administration were supporting.
China wasn't in the first TPP, oddly enough. It was
Really?
13 Pacific countries, but China wasn't one of them, although they've reformatted a new Pacific partnership with now Canada and China's in this one.
So here's what
I think
happens.
they're trying to get us into that.
What do you think happens when you increase the corporate tax rate to 39.6%, up from I think like 28? Then you say we're going to increase the minimum wage to $15, but anything you make overseas can come right back to this country
why
free
would
of
they stay in
charge.
the US?
Every company is going to be like, okay, then we'll go to China.
Right.
Like, is that what you want us to do? And they're going to do it. And that means good paying middle class jobs gone. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And now we got COVID. Now we got the lockdowns coming back. And Fauci is saying a year. Q3 of 2021 until we go back to normal, he says.
And one thing that just I don't know why it's not talked about in mainstream media. It's when these manufacturing jobs are shipped, now we have all these fathers and dads in these communities with no jobs. Then they fall into depression. Now we have divorce going up. We have foster care going up. Opioid abuse going up. This is not good for our country. We need candidates like, not like more populist, working class. There was actually an interesting study by Heather Long from Washington Post. She put out this report that voters in the Midwest who were more afraid to lose their job to automation voted for Trump. Voters who weren't afraid of automation voted for Biden. I think that says everything about who has the working class message and who doesn't.
Did you guys see the video from the World Economic Forum about not owning anything?
Yep.
In the video, it says Western values have been tested to the breaking point. And then it goes on to talk about how we got to do something different. And we will create, they say our predictions is that in the future, you won't own anything and you'll be happy. And maybe that's true. If they take away your ability to know, I was talking about this in one of my videos. You guys have seen Stargate, right?
Yes.
You've seen Stargate?
With MacGyver?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So when they go there, he tries drawing something on the ground and they freak out. Like, no, it's forbidden to write things down. People will be kept very happy in their ignorance. You take away their ability to know how good things can really be. Sure, they'll be happy not owning anything.
What was the title of the article? I don't know anything, or I don't own anything. I don't have any privacy, and life is better than I ever expected. Absolutely amazing.
Why would they say that?
They're just trying to destroy the family so bad.
I'm
that's for sure.
To agree.
That's all about blurring boundaries, right?
Yeah,
all this is about indiscriminate connection, no boundaries.
Communism.
What we need is strategic disconnection. We need barriers that allow what we want to come and go. This is a theme for the next 20 years, guys. It's not about indiscriminate connections. It's about strategic disconnection at this point. Now, what I want to know is that the World Economic Forum, the advocates of capitalism, have they been pushing neoliberal trade? Have they been looking to reduce the barriers between capital flows and trade flows and labor flows, etc.? They're trying to universalize the entire world with Western economic values, and now they're saying that they're flawed somehow? I don't understand
that. It says
that.
on the World Economic Forum website, the values that built the West will have been tested to breaking point. We forget the checks and balances that bolster our democracies at our peril, writes Kenneth Roth, Executive Director of Human Rights Watch.
I am offended that they're using the term checks and balances in this instance. Highly offended.
They extracted our wealth with this Federal Reserve fiat, and now they're going to crash us.
Yeah.
Well, I think they extracted our wealth by free trade agreements, driving up minimum wages, which incentivizes companies to take advantage of transferring the factories overseas. And then to add insult to injury, they crank up the corporate tax rate. So the companies are like, we have no choice. We're going to give up 40% of our revenue unless we move to Mexico or China. Let's go.
You know, it's the first time in my life I'm going to agree with the Black Bloc protesters. Let's go back to the 1999 World Trade Organization, the battle in Seattle. Everybody was arguing free trade with China means a race to the bottom on wages, a race to the bottom on human rights issues, and a race to the bottom on the environment. And guess what? They weren't wrong in that regard. They were not wrong.
Those people are now the Trump supporters. Yep. The people that were challenging that are still challenging it. There are certainly a lot of people probably at the battle in Seattle who were just there because they were part of the leftists' coalition.
Definitely.
Now,
I was being a little facetious.
But look at Occupy Wall Street. They were protesting the Obama administration. Now these people voted for Joe Biden. That is insane.
Thank you. The realignment.
It's the sociological ignorance that we've been foisted upon ourselves.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.